Alright, hello and welcome everybody to a 2v2 casted match. Today we have the Japanese and French versus Jeanne d'Arc and what I believe to be the Chinese. That is definitely not the Chinese, that is the Rus. My bad. Getting into it, we are going to be taking a look. This is a Conquer 3 match, and I believe the map is Dry Arabia. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly is going to happen here today, as we don't get to see the Roost very often, and I'm really excited to see what they bring for us today. Mm. Obviously, I'm going to be scouting the map out in the beginning, finding the relics and sheep, and it looks like everybody wants to get a little piece of the pie on the gold resources today, looking for the early age ups, get out of the Dark Age, into the feudal. Mm. Nice quiet start. Obviously 2v2 matches are going to be a little bit more intense, but that's okay. The Japanese obviously going to be having a unique bonus tech, but they don't have the stone to pay for it right now. And it looks like we have our first little Roost showdown trying to stop the experience gain from killing those deer. It's going to be quite the bother, but hopefully it doesn't affect our Roost player too much there. Other than that, looks like they will be killing the deer off in every corner of the map, so I'm not going to give this Roost player any breathing room whatsoever. And it looks like we have our first age up coming out for the Japanese, going for the Kura Storehouse, obviously an economic landmark for farming, going to help out with getting free farms, and then of course free wood when that's over with. And looks like his partner in crime is going to be going for the School of Cavalry. Not a surprise for the French, especially with Jeanne d'Arc on the opposing team, who will of course also be going for a School of Cavalry. So it'll be interesting to see that cavalry showdown in the future. Tons of sheep coming in for green here. And what's going on? We've got our Kremlin coming down for the Rus on the wood line. It's going to be a nice little defensive landmark to kind of just block the trees. Any sneaky, back routes coming through here, not going to be able to happen. So, and then, of course, the deer as well going to be protected. And what do we have going on? Still School of Cavalry, that hasn't changed much. He looks like red is a little low on sheep here though, so that's it's gonna be a problem for the early game food economy. Probably gonna have to look for those berry bushes a little sooner than he'd like to. But looks like Japan is gonna be playing it safe, getting the preemptive outpost down, and barely gets that house down before getting pop capped. Very well, timed there. Gets the first farm from the Kura Storehouse out. School of Cavalry already going to be pumping out those Royal Knights. And what do we have down here? Yep, just some more deer getting shot and the wolf being a nuisance. Cavalry coming out for our Jeanne d'Arc player. The scout's going to be coming over to BOB's base. He's just going to park himself outside, and it looks like he's going to get caught out here, or detected rather, because outpost is immediately going to start being constructed to prevent any early game raids. And of course, the scout, only having the one attack, is going to instead decide to use his torch attack to start damaging the outpost before it gets up, which is definitely the right move, as, you know, one damage melee attacks aren't going to do anything, but the knight is going to come in, get the charge off, nearly kill the villager, but it is going to be defended with a royal knight of the French's own, so looks like he's going to have to scoot on out of here, wait for reinforcements, but he did manage to stop the outpost from going up, at least for a little bit, and he definitely stopped the gold income, so that is definitely a win for our team 2 here. And hopefully the scout gets microed out, because it would be a real shame to lose your scout this early on. They do have the same move speed though, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. And here come the reinforcements. And, you know, what seemed like an easy kill is now a French knight running for the hills. And I wonder, have we got the outpost up? Luckily the outpost is up, so these villagers are going to be safe. I mean, we've got 10, so not enough room for all of them in their outpost, but one is definitely enough to ward off some early game knights, at least for a little bit. And let's see what they want to do. Looks like they're going to charge in. And one villager does go down. That is a nice big early game win. Going to set yellow back by a little bit, and the knights are going to kind of square off here, but I don't know if you want to take this fight under an outpost and a capital town center. One knight will go down, and the other one's going to have to run off now. Looks like red getting a little over aggressive. Should have just taken the villager, called it a day. And he is going to pay with losing a knight, which are definitely not cheap, especially this early in the game. 100 gold. That is impressive. But Jeanne d'Arc is now a woman at arms, and that military is starting to build. Looks like Blue's scout is going to tickle the villager of yellow instead of... Oh boy, and here come the knights with the charging, and RIP to the Blue Scout. That's what happens when you take your eyes off the ball for just a second in these high-level games, and hopefully it doesn't impact them too much. Now we see the high trade house come down for the Rus, economic landmark. That gives you, what is that, 400% hunting cabin value without claiming any trees. Wow. And spawns huntable deer, so that's really nice. Yellow's knights going to be poking at red now, since his military is nowhere to be seen. Doesn't look like any villagers are going to go down though, so just going to be a overall nuisance. That's fine. We do see red looking to see what he can find, and he is going to find yellow's army of knights, but they're going to get scared off due to the just complete lack of numbers, and of course Jeanne d'Arc with her AoE ability is nothing to scoff at either. But it looks like they're going to feel like they need to step in here as the farming economy is threatened, and the villagers are going to hop into the outpost. A knight is going to go down. Jeanne d'Arc's going to get shot at a little bit, but nothing she can't shrug off with that health regen. And yellow's singular knight gonna transition over to the blue base, but yeah, he's gonna knock on the door and find out it's empty. And now that yellow's military can't stand up, oh boy, he's trying to get greedy with the second outpost, and they're not gonna. Oh my God, wow. Okay, so he only loses one villager. Luckily, that could have been a lot worse. The timing on that was very tight. And now green is gonna step in with mounted samurai. Great call. Obviously a nice fast unit to be able to zoom over here as quickly as possible. And Looks like Red's gonna micro the knight out. Very impressive, but he's gonna send him back. Oh, okay. So looks like Jeanne d'Arc is gonna pop the heal ability, and I believe it's missing health. So waiting till they're low on HP is really a smart move there. And now Green luckily blocks the charge with the reflective armor, or deflective rather, um, saving it, but gonna go down anyways. Looks like Blue got another scout up. I think that's definitely a right call. Obviously gonna lose out on the villager that he could have had instead, but what can you do? Yellow gonna be trying for another outpost, and this time the knights are just gonna focus it down. Where did the villager building it go? Who knows? I don't think it died though, so could have been worse. Horse archers for the Rus. Can't shoot and move, so they're not gonna be as punishing as a Mongolian horse archer, but still annoying nonetheless. And finally, we get our first 2v2. Jeanne d'Arc's gonna go down. And it looks like the Rus horse archers are just gonna go home, being followed by a couple of red knights, which are on his team. And looks like green and yellow are gonna clump their army up as well. He's gonna try for that outpost again. And let's take a look. What do we have down? So we got the floating gate, religious landmark, Shinto priests, and looks like yellow doesn't have age 3 yet. Neither does red, but it is in progress. Royal Institute, cheaper tech, ignores age requirements. So it looks like red wants to play for the late game, and at this point, I feel like that's a risky move considering how much fighting we're seeing here. Hopefully those cheaper techs are what it takes to kind of pull ahead here as he scares off these mounted Japanese samurai. And what is that? Okay. Speed boost ability coming through. And it looks like he's got his own archer cav now to counter the Rus archer cav. And yellow gonna sneak all of his knights into the blue base, but there are gonna be some archer cav here to kite these knights. The berry villagers do get pushed off though, so he is accomplishing something, but let's hope he doesn't get sandwiched with the rest of red coming in and the rest of blue as well. So that's a little scary, especially considering these are horse archers. So the first knight's gonna go down, and looks like they have no choice but to engage here, or not. You know, just gonna feint the charge, try and scare him back. But it's not looking good for Yellow's army here. And this could spell disaster if they get caught out, and they're very close to getting sandwiched here. The walls are going to go up. And will he be able to find a way out? That is the question. Hopefully these villagers don't get knocked down with you know, no safe place. So many horse archers going to be chasing. He really, really wants to wipe out all these knights from yellow. And they're going to realize now, ooh, very smart to put the villagers on the other side of the wall, and now they will engage, knowing they are trapped, nowhere to go, and completely and totally outnumbered. This is devastating. So many expensive knights this early on in the match is really going to set yellow behind. And you can actually see green out here, but horse archers, of course, not going to be able to have a torch attack, so these walls are going to be going down very slowly, as the mounted samurai are the only source of real damage for getting this wall down. Beautiful wall by red, obviously buying him all the time in the world for blue to reposition his army and come to help out on the defense. Meanwhile, red is going to take his knights over to the yellow base, knowing full well that he just lost so many units. And he's trying to build up his army again, but he's going to have no choice but to engage here under the capital town center, and down go 2 knights. 15 villagers inside the town center right now, slowing that economy down for yellow. And yeah, he just hasn't had enough time to get his military back up, and now the wood line is going to get raided, and so many villagers are going to go down here. I count 1, 2, 3. That does not feel good. He does have a second town center at this point, so he's going to be able to shrug some of those losses off compared to the 1 town center from the other team. But yeah, I mean, these town center arrows just, the toothpicks in the side of these armored mounted knights. And with the green horse archers showing up, he's going to get pushed back, but where does he go? Is he going to get caught? Jeanne d'Arc does go down, obviously not mounted yet. Probably need to look into getting her enough experience to not get caught out and die like that. And what do we have here? Blue horse archers is going to find a couple more yellow villagers. That's not going to feel good. A couple of green horse archers sitting around, but they're going to go down. And now there's nothing in the way stopping this army of blue. And they're going to walk into the already depleted wood line of yellow, and they're really focusing yellow down at this point, knowing not only did they just finish off his army in the blue base, but then you see red immediately capitalize in the yellow base, finishing off whatever knights he had left. I'm surprised that they're going to be transitioning over to green's base, but horse archers are just such a deadly raiding unit, being able to pick off a couple of villagers on the way into the town center. And here comes green's army to defend, but he's outnumbered at this point too. And this is just awful to witness. This could be game, honestly, here, because I don't see any military from yellow. And once green's army is defeated, yeah, here comes 3 knights out of yellow. That's not going to be anywhere near enough. Immediately going to get swamped on. Jeanne d'Arc finally mounted as a knight. And yeah, those yellow knights don't stand a chance. Green doesn't have enough horse archers to really push here, so he's going to fall back, use the outpost garrison to try and push these blue horse archers off. And at this point, the villagers just have nowhere to go. The town center only has so much room. He's going to try and get the emergency wall up, but he's just not able to catch a break with the wolf getting involved. And you know, here comes red to maybe finish the job. Blue's here to help out, gets the knight. And they're so far ahead that they're going to start going for the sacred sites, which is, you know, a great way to get some free gold income, especially since yellow and green are both pushed completely into the base at this point. And if you can capture all 3, why not? Start the clock and, you know, put this game to bed and move on to the next one for these guys. And here we see red isn't messing around anymore. Finally going to start torching down that town center, and with only the arrows to chip away at these knights, it's inevitably going to be going down here. And here comes blue to support. Obviously, bows aren't going to be, and there's the surrender. And how much longer is green going to stay in this game? Not very long is the answer. GG, well played. That was a fun one, and I will see you guys in the next one.